Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today I want to talk about 1440p monitor versus 4K. I'm still getting a lot of questions about this in the comments section on these videos that I've been making. And so today I chose Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And there's a reason for that. If you've played this game on a 4K TV, yeah, it looks pretty good. This is definitely still last gen, you know, the visuals, none of that stuff have really been upgraded for this game. So it still essentially looks the same as it did on like an Xbox One X, but it does now have 60 frames per second. The reason why I chose this game is because of the way it can kind of look in the distance. On a 4K TV, you know, you can still get like some blurry textures, stuff like that. Some spots will look blurrier than others. You know, mainly out into the distance while you're playing. So I bought this game way back when it launched. It is available on the on Xbox Game Pass now. So if you wanted to take a look at that, but the reason why we're talking about this on as a 1440p thing. So there's some things that you're going to notice right out of the gate when you ever try to play this on a 1440p monitor. So you're going from a 4K screen. A 4K screen is, what is it, 3840 by 2160p pixels. So the game has to render all of those pixels, one pixel, you know, like pixel per pixel for a 4K image. And mainly most of these games can do that, whether they're using some sort of upscaling, you know, like temporal injection, checkerboard, DLSS, any of those kind of upscalers that kind of help it use like different frames from the frame to just kind of keep that image there to fill in all of those pixels. Well, sometimes that can either leave your screen looking a little bit blurry. I'm not saying that these games look terrible on a 4K screen. Like, I'm not saying that at all. Like, I still like the way they look. But when you have all those pixels on there and they're using some sort of kind of like an upscaling technique, it's just barely getting it to a 4K image. So with 4K, you're gonna lose some stuff, you know, like some settings. You know, you're gonna lose like shadow quality. You're gonna lose, you know, some of the other fine quality, like texture details, stuff like that. Like the details and the texture are gonna look a little bit not like really sharp, not really crisp, not that great. So when you look at something like Assassin's Creed Odyssey on a 1440p monitor, you no longer have to worry about any of that upscaling stuff. None at all. In fact, if games run above 1440p, like at 4K or something like that, everything gets downsampled to fit your 4K, your 1440p screen. So it makes all of the visuals, instead of them looking kind of stretched, now they look dense. Now they look real dense. Like there's so much texture and beauty right here in the back of Alexios in this. Like this is really high quality looking. Like you would be playing this, like this looks like I'd be playing something on the PC at like maximum settings, you know, and like everything just looks like really good, really dense. You don't see any like stair step in or any kind of things like fading out or fading away. And like if you look out there in the trees, they don't look like you can't see, like, because on a 4K you'll be able to look out there in the distance and see the trees and they'll look like billboards. Well, automatically switching it to 1440p, they don't look like billboards anymore. I mean, maybe the ones like way up there on the top of the mountain, I mean, they don't, like, you could still see them up there, but it looks so much better. And the contrast ratio on these monitors actually looks really nice too. My monitor does have HDR support, so I get that HDR. Now when you come over here and you start looking at textures, now all of these look even better as well. Like all of these textures, they look more dense. They look like there's more, like more of a coloring to them than you get on the on a 4K screen. Like, look at this wall. Look at this wall texture. this wall texture looks really, really incredibly nice as you're walking by it. Like it really does look more dense. It adds more of a, it adds, it adds greatly to the experience that you have. And I don't know how else to explain that. It was a really good thing for the PlayStation 5 to finally allow us to select 1440p as our output resolution. Like, that is freaking awesome, because now everything looks more dense. Like, there's more detail in it. You can see, like, this right here, like the detail in these in this vase and these headstones and stuff like that. Like, it looks way better. The ground looks nicer to walk on. The vegetation out here looks really, really nice. There's no fuzziness or blurriness or anything anymore to any image on the 1440p monitor. It looks incredible. The trees, the bark on the trees looks better. Looks way more, a lot, I'm not going to say realistic, but like, look at this tree. I mean, that texture on there looks a lot better, a lot fuller. The vegetation, the stonework over here on this wall, you get over here and you look at the stonework. I mean, looking at these games, the reason why I feel like, I mean, one of the bigger reasons I feel like the 1440p monitor is essential for gaming this generation, you get everything, and you can even go back and play older games. There's a ton of games on the Xbox platform now that have FPS boost. You can put them older games. Let's face it, you know, the games that we lose all the 4K and everything, because they're doing the FPS boost, so they're not running the Xbox One X version anymore. Well, they still look just as good on a 1440p monitor as you would as you remember when you first played those games. Now they're running at 60 or 120 frames a second, and it looks incredible. You don't need as much memory or RAM or any of that kind of stuff to run these games at 1440p. So that's something that the developers should look into and potentially give us more of a you know, like a high quality 1440p mode would be incredible for this. Like, I don't know how else to like try to convince you that, yeah, dude, maybe you should pick up a 1440p monitor and at least see for yourself and do the testing that I've done, you know, for yourself. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Like, 1440p is probably your best bet if you want really sharp, good looking. Actually, it doesn't look sharp. It looks dense. Like, the visuals look very, very dense, and they hold up a lot better than what sometimes they look on a 4K TV. 4K looks really, really sharp, and sometimes that kind of takes away from the image that you're getting on your games. Like this right here, it looks dense. It doesn't look like crystal sharp like a 4K display would. But then again, that also harms the image, in my opinion. When you see this and it's all milky smooth and it just looks beautifully dense and everything, then you'll understand, like, wow, man, this looks so much better than what I remember it looking on the 4K screen. And I have put this on the 4K and looked at it, and I love the way this looks way freaking more. I mean, looking out there and seeing everything, gosh. having 60 frames a second for this game, my gosh, it like really does just breathe new life into this experience, man. If you haven't played if you haven't played Assassin's Creed, all right, now there are some downsides to 1440p. You're not going to get that 1440p. Well, you're not going to get 4K. Obviously, you're not going to get that really super sharp, crisp look that you've seen on your TVs anymore. And you probably are going to be leaving Dolby Vision on the table for that. Now, 4K. My honest opinion is 4K is the TV manufacturers completely skipped 1440p and went straight for 4K because the buzzwords and the marketing and all of that stuff. Yeah, but we're still a ways away from actually being able to get native 4K at 60 frames a second, especially with these consoles, man. 12 teraflops, 10 teraflops, that's just not quite there just yet. They still just need a little bit. They need more. My PC barely does 60 or barely does. I mean, I can do native 4K and 60 frames a second on a lot of games. But some of these bigger open world games, even like Assassin's Creed, like hitting native 4K with max settings on this game at 4K, my card's doing a little bit like up to 60 frames a second. You know what I mean? Like up to 60 frames, sometimes a little bit over, but I still think that this right here just looks incredible on these consoles. 1440p, like you'll never, ever, ever, ever feel like your game looks blurry again. Like you'll never, ever feel that way. You'll never feel like, oh man, like I don't like the way that looks or something like that. You will never feel that way again. I mean, once you get used to it too, oh my gosh, man, this just looks incredible. Every game I've played on the 1440p monitor, man, I really love the way it looks. Playing Battlefield, Call of Duty, everything, it just looks so much better. And you get your 120 frames. You get your 120 frames a second as well. You get your 120 frames a second as well on the 1440p monitor without having to worry about that. You get your VRR support. At least with the Xbox platform, not with the PlayStation 5, but you do get it with the whoa, doggy. The doggies want to fight me. Freaking dog. But yeah, like going through here again and like playing around in this game, gosh man, this looks so good. Like it does look good on a 4K screen, don't get me wrong, this one still looks good on a 4K screen, but my gosh man, if you want to see true freaking beauty, play this on a 1440p monitor, man. I'm telling you, 1440p with the way these settings look, running it, running on a 1440p monitor, boy, man, this game just really looks incredible. Like I don't know how to this looks so good. And when you're looking out there across the valley and stuff, man, you're not seeing all that blur anymore. You're not seeing all that blur. It looks so much better now. Like when you walk over here and you look down at the cities, look across the mountain range, see that just looks good. Nothing to complain about. This kind of looks better on a 1440p monitor than a lot of the new games look on a 4K screen, man. Like this looks really good. Like look at these animals. Look at these guys. Ooh, piece of candy. Get over here a little bit closer to him. Ah, you stupid wolves. Gosh. Get away my eggs. Trying to see those guys, because you can see just how beautiful they look. Where'd they go, man? Gosh, this game looks incredible. There he is. Look at him. Dang. The animals look good on here now. The fur looks better. Everything. This just, look at that. Look at that texture rock in that rock. In that rock face. Like, this looks so freaking good. Let's get down there to that beach. And then we'll stop this video. We'll stop the video after this. I want to show you like the sand textures and stuff, and like the water crashing into the waves and stuff.
I should watch my step around here.
Running through the tall grass, man. This feels so much better to play at 60 frames a second too. Like, thank you Ubisoft for giving us that 60 frames, man. My goodness. See, like, look at this. Like, running toward this beach. Man, I love being in this world of Assassin's Creed. I love being here. Gosh, look at this. Kind of miss doing those big battles on this game too, but now you look at the sand textures and quality, man. Gosh. Wow. It looks like there's actual, like, sand. Like, individual grains of sand. Like, you can see they look so much better. The waves from the water. It looks so good. Right here, you go over here and you look. Dang. Like, that actually looks like look at the coloring in that sand. It just looks so beautiful. What I'm saying, man, this completely transforms this experience more than 4K ever did for it. Dolby Vision does help a lot on 4K, but man, just trying to replicate this on a 4K, man, that's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. So, all right, man, if you guys like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I like making these 1440p videos, even though some of you don't like them, but I think they're good. And I think the world needs to know, man, that you can save money by getting a 1440p monitor, and you can have a better visual experience than what you can on a 4K screen a lot of the time. There's very few games that look as good as this on a 4K screen. Very few. It's very few and far between. And you guys know me. I've bought a lot of games, and it's just very few and far between when a game looks this good on my 4K screen as it does right here on this monitor. So, Cyberpunk 2077, that one looks pretty dang good on a 4K screen. I'll have to sit back and look, man. I'll have to play some of them and put together a list of the ones that look really, really good on a 4K screen and let you know, because it's pretty few and far between. So, all right, man. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hit that like and subscribe button.